For the next presentation, I will try to be quick and concise and show you some of the most important findings that we have gathered over the last year. We have started academic research, we have started publishing activity in a group of around 5 to 10 people, including some student colleagues. So we are happy to show you a few findings, which I will categorize into 3 main parts. I have some research context. We have discussed most of it. So I would just like to, again, emphasize that what we have said, for instance, the extraction, transmission, and processing of digital financial data is important, or that processing raw data is hard. This also can be seen in academic research, and even some research, and also there are some conferences. There has been some conferences in recent years that that show us that this process might be accelerating, and now digital reporting will also be, after a few years of slight decrease, it will and it is accelerating again. So how can digital reporting help researchers? As reported content for financial information, for other managerial information and notes, a lot of but in the development of hypothesis, research questions, variables are needed, and in a lot of research, these financial variables are gathered in a pretty hard, lengthy, and manual way. So that was our motivation to use digital or XBRL-based digital reports to extract information that is valuable for us. Some other research have stated and have discussed data standards, why they are useful in generating statistics. Completeness and relevancy are two main factors why digital reports look like a good choice. And it's also yes, as a summary in a statement, based on the literature, improved comparability, reduced transaction costs for analysts, more accurate forecasts, and reduced information asymmetries might be some of the key advantages of implementing financial data coming from the digital sources. So we have set out 3 goals. First was basically, as Arpad mentioned, systematic literature review. This is practice that we usually do at the start of and through research in a certain area. So we aimed at a full population of academic resources. Second was getting a sample, which was the filings.xbrl.org, and I will tell you about it. It's a repository of SF files, and we carried out an assessment based on these several thousand reports. And in the third part, I will showcase, I will do a quick presentation of web-based portal that we have developed, which basically helped us, or it enabled us. It's an in-house developed tool, basically, for research purposes. It has enabled us to get useful information, useful, basically, spreadsheets, so in our format for the research. I'm sorry. Is there a video here? Just a second. Okay, I disabled it. Our system, so the findings of our literature review was based on 4 data sources, 4 scientific databases, and we have carried out a systematic step of identifying, extracting, and processing the relevant scientific resources. We have aimed at the subject areas of business management and accounting, and also computer science. And we have arrived, after some data cleaning, at almost 1,000 articles, which look like, so they're so it seems like I don't know what's with the recording video, but it's clear to see that there was a peak in research output around at 2010, and now it's also starting to increase. Very high ranked journal articles are also constantly being developed, and which also can be seen here from the very high number, more than 600 journal articles. We have identified 13 books, and it can also be seen that most of the journal articles are published by an American publisher, American Accounting Association, and the top journals are also targeting this area. Why did we carry out the systematic literature review? So there are a few automated analysis that we can create with the Boss Viewer software. It's a open access software. On the left side, it might be a bit overwhelming, and I will not really zoom in to certain parts of it, but the left part is the network of authors. So we can clearly identify those academics who have been publishing, and who have published near 2010 and also in newer years. And if we look at the right-hand section, it is similar, but it's the country of affiliations.
Sorry for
Can you take over? I will try to.
Definitely, and sorry for jumping in. It's really, I think it's important. Wherever I see some researchers in the room, definitely they use some of these in their systematic literature review, but business persons might not use it because, but that's, when academia and business meet. So I would recommend, because we are short in time, definitely these presentations will be handed out, that we will focus on really a slightly shorter version in the conclusions, okay? So what we made from those. But the key thing, we do see all the connections, who are the authors, who are the co-authors, what are the ideas that they are thinking about. And this is really drilling down very specifically what and how do they think as an idea to utilize digital reporting and how to use and apply these in the field of academia. Even this is very nice network, so we will try to be on the right side as well on the map, hopefully in the future, right, Alex? So that's one of our goals, but we will see that. So you see all the authors, and we can move on, Alex.
Sure.
With this, and as you see, all these are all details that we can drill down, and we can still continue. And these scientometric analyses, and that was important. And now I think that's the case, and that will be after that demonstration. I would focus on that on the third point that you wanted to mention, right? So
it is so the next part, assessing a large number of reports. In this case, it was 7,800 SF filings. So these results were prepared at the end of last year, and these results were presented at the Trends in Accounting Research Conference in Sweden, and it also received the Best Paper award that we are proud on. So what we did was connecting to through an API, we connected and retrieved a large number of reports from this repository. And we have a Java-based knowledge base that processed these reports, and there's an easy-to-use, it's of course a proof of concept and internal research portal at the moment, but we have
I think now it's really, considering the short of time, we just skip through the steps, and please, if you can read that, so these are really the steps, and this is very sophisticated, very logical. What is key importance here, that we developed a kind of database for researchers as well to use, and to have available data, and you can also drill down per company who they reported XBRLs. So from this you can really clearly see, like based on industry, company, so it's really the base that you want to use. The other thing is that the data quality, and that's important because this is financial reporting, so you should rely on those numbers. And definitely these are following certain taxonomies, and that's where you can start analyzing, making connections, and have the conclusions. So in a nutshell, that's the conclusions, and really the third point that you want to mention.
Okay, let me just jump through the slides. It was on the data types. Then in some cases it's necessary to make some calculations based on some kind of business logic, and that's what I mentioned, is the conversion of currencies because of so many member states of the EU. So we have converted everything to a common euro currency, and it seems like the taxonomies used were, the tags. So the disclosures, 87% of it were IFRS tags, and on average 362 tags or IFRS tags, and 56 custom tags were in one report. We have went into a little bit into the more complex things, which I do not really want to show or go into. But
we are happy to share all
yes,
the details who are interested.
It's just one example on the comparability of reports. So we have identified those tags that are fully comparable, and this is what we call taxonomy coverage analysis, and some descriptive analysis on those numerical values. And it can be tracked back to the actual values. So we see some extremes on the minimum and maximum sides, but these are just some examples that we have went back manually and checked the paper-based reports. And it seems like that even though most of the data is numeric, 46% was included on the notes section. So it's heavy on that section regarding the financial statements.
And I think this is really highlighting the importance of the disclosure and the capability of XBRL, because we are not only using PDFs, not only comparing those, but I can precisely tell you, for instance, if this is an integrated reporting, their CO2 scope 1 emissions, if they are disclosing that, right? So you can really clearly compare those sentences, and even you can really see what do they want to mean. So if you run a natural language processing and you want to identify what do they want to tell you with this sentence, you can analyze those. So it's not only clearly numbers.
Yes, you can also search in the concept names. We have tried a few examples with provision, contingent, and emissions, which could be connected to ESG matters, and we have export options of obtaining the full textual disclosures, but I can also relate back to the András representation that these textual tags or these textual disclosures, they are quite hectic by what we could see based on the 2021 and 22 reports. But we expect them to be more structured, of course. And this is what we have set as some limitations. Large data size, especially in textual data, and text post-processing is also limited because of the language variances. Additional data cleaning is necessary. And the third one is,
yes,
I would like to just show you the website.
Yes. So basically, this is the end of the presentation.
Yep.
And what you see is this is what we build. It's not really there is not really a graphical version of it. It's more like to get the data, right? So we were focusing on data, not clearly on a user graphical experience or whatever, because, so Alex, just a quick example, please, if you want to do that.
Yes, it is almost an identical copy of the, well, not copy, but extract of the filings.xbrl.org repository. We have a way to, well, to see some of the tags, not very user-friendly format, but what is more important, and the full report content is here. So it starts with financial statements, then a lot of notes, and also a lot of text tags. I mean, the content can be seen here in Italian, it seems.
So if we just take the example, and that's really the end of the presentation. So what Anders mentioned, accountants can learn scripting, accountants can learn how to read data, accountants can utilize this stuff. So if I'm asking one specific company, if I'm asking an Italian, how do they express, how do they say on whatever emission, provision, or whatever disclosure I'm talking about, we can clearly get it what they say by a minute, by a second. So you just filter out, you just compare those data, and you can work with those. And we already have a question for that.
Yeah. No, so I was thinking based on the automated qualitative analysis that you need to do on the ESG reports using NLP, I assume that you're getting some categorization of the input that is reusable. How do you see those insights driving the further improvement and use in categorization so that we have more machine-readable, accurate content in these reports? Because I assume that one of the parts here is that it's a lot of textual content where the notes are made for human readers. And so it would imply that over time with digital financial reporting and digital sustainability reporting, those notes would be more available to computers for understanding the categorization of the disclosures that are made. So how do you see that based on the data you've seen and what would be possible?
Well, I mean, I will over to Alex, but I think this is an excellent question. So it is. I would say, if I would like to oversimplify, it's learning by doing. So it's really definitely helping the quality and the analysis. And I think Charles would like to also comment.
I have a different take on this.
Yeah, please.
With all due respect, and I'm sorry for saying this, those analyses were done by an IT person. Having information about the data type, is it string or is it numeric, and the different data types. It's really easy to pull this up. Everything in there is easy. Okay, but you need to go to the next level. We want to see how many companies had balance sheets. It better be 100%. How many had income statements? It better be 100%. You can start asking good questions like, how many companies provided a combined statement of income and comprehensive income, and how many did a separate statement of income and comprehensive income? How many companies in their disclosure of the maturities of long-term debt, did they provide the numbers or all the periods? Do the periods add up? Do the periods tie to the non-current and current portion that's what accountants want. They don't want these easy things that IT people do because they don't want to talk to accountants. They want the hard things that if the IT people would talk to accountants, we could get, and it's all available today. It's not about putting things in the disclosures. They're already there. So I don't understand fully ESMA disclosures and how they're phasing in the notes. But for US GAAP disclosures, it's all the details there now. And data aggregators are screaming for that information. They're screaming. They would love to have it. But they can't provide it because they can't get to it. Because the metadata that describes how they get to it doesn't exist. Okay, but when it's created, then all this stuff will flow together the way it needs to. And there needs to be more than one accountant, which seems to be only me, explaining this to people, what they could have, so that people get on the bandwagon and build the correct software. The biggest problem that exists right now is the software is terrible. It's not bad, it is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the comment, Charles. I think we are in agreement here. This is just, like for analytics purposes. So we want to show like what is available as of today. And we made this available for researchers to have a better view, a better picture, because, even this one has to be built because otherwise it would not be available, right? So,
absolutely.
So this is just like showing the first
step.
That is correct.
But it's been 20 years since people have been doing this. 20 years. It's like, I'm not a very patient guy, but...
Yeah, the good thing, you don't need to convince us to continue working on this, because we already started, and this is just like showing the capabilities, and that's what I mentioned, because Charles has the vision where to go and what would be the road that we need to complete, and this is just the first step. So we are not there yet. So we still have work to do, but...
I agree that we're not there yet.
Yeah. So if you want to use and apply it in your research or wherever, it's because the more publication we get from here, the more results, the more academics handling and talking about it, and even like, for instance, if it is used for business analysis, for benchmarks, it's available, so you can play with that because this is public information, right? So we want to get this to be utilized and used by others. And that's why we can get there. We can get really more people involved here. And that's the idea.
Yeah. This is why I think it's very important not to duplicate what other people have already done. Why it's important to not show this step 10 years after the SEC reports have been existed. Show the next several levels.
Okay.